Hi everyone, and welcome to my first little tutorial video. Maybe I should call this something like Tony's Tiny Tutorials. Do like a bit of alliteration. So I've been asked to give a little bit of help with how to paint some seafoam. So this is what I'm going to focus on in this little tutorial. You can apply this not just to paintings like this out my yin and yang one, but also any kind of wave or ocean painting. I've used a similar technique in my surfer painting here. You can also see it used slightly at a different angle on the waves along here and also on the crest of the waves up here in this painting. So you can see the contrast and what I'm actually working on. I'm going to give myself a bit of a sky colour. So I've just used some white and a mixture of cerulean and ultramarine blue, and I'm just going to spread that around the area so that you can see the contrast. So this here you can see is going to be the crest of our wave where I'm leaving it. I don't want to have my sky fighting with my wave colour, so I'm going to make my sky paler so that it sits further back in the painting and looks, well, like it's further away, and then my wave has the chance to be more dominant. I've also used a slightly different tone of blue, so I've used the little bit of ultramarine to give it a slightly more purpley blue tone to it than my wave's going to have. I like to badly mix my wave colour. That gives me streaks and a bit of movement within my paint that wouldn't otherwise be there. And I'm going to paint with that always in the direction that the water is moving. So you can see there I've got these lovely streaks and movement lines. Don't be tempted to overwork that, because you'll lose the streaks that you've got. Any areas of water that are closer to you, you want to make a bit darker. So I'm going to use more of my cerulean without the white in and just work that through on the areas that are going to be closer. I'm also going to give this wave a little bit of a turning crest. This underneath lower bit, you want to be paler. And that will help to make it move further away from you. I've used slightly more paint than I would normally do on my brush for this because I want those active streaks, which you wouldn't necessarily get if you were using a small amount of paint and spreading it far and working it around your canvas so you haven't got sort of thick, lumpy paint that takes forever to dry. The key shape that you want to be running along the top of your wave with your seafoam is basically like a scalloped effect. So, but the key is you don't want it to be regular like that. And this is probably the hardest bit. You want it to be irregular. So big bits, smaller bits. That's the kind of shape that you're aiming to get. The underneath shape from that you would get going along this curved top here would be with lines coming down. Again, you want those to be different heights, lengths and thicknesses, and really vary these lines that come down. I'm going to use a fan brush and some pure white paint, just dipping the very tip in I'm going to dab all the excess off. You might find with your brush that it will naturally start to curve in one direction. Let's try and get that in shot, Tony. There we go. And always use that so that the curve follows the direction of your wave. So what I'm going to do is just start dabbing. Because I've taken some of the excess paint off already before I even started touching this on the canvas, I will get much more of a broken line and not masses of big blobby kinds of paint I don't want that. We want it to be blobby but not like thick solid blobs. So I've started to put some shapes in here. Some of these I'm going to make longer, some I'm going to make the line come down. I'm going to start to fill some of these in like this. I tend to find that with the white, as it dries, it starts to show the background through, and you get a lovely effect if you do this in 2 coats. Particularly, you'll get the sort of really pure white kind of areas, and you'll also get the paler blue with the wave showing through. So I'm going to bring some more of this down, put in some lines that are closer together. So, but you can see I've been following the lines, the curved lines that I have from the original painting. And I'm still using my brush in that direction that the wave curves. I'm now going to bring my wave over. Once I've got the main parts of this seafoam in, I'm going to switch over to a smaller fan brush. You can use a flat square or filbert brush, but you're always going to end up with more solid looking waves, which is sort of lumps of seafoam, which is not really what you want. So I'm going to bring some kind of loosely starting to crash down. So it really is kind of giving yourself a bit of freedom, or the brush a bit of freedom to do what it wants to do, and you kind of have to just resign yourself to it in a way. So that's, I've got the basic shape of the underneath. I need to now work out that top area. So I'm going to switch over to my smaller brush. And now I can get into, with this smaller brush, I can get into rounding the tops a bit more. Also, where some of my original set of paint has started to dry, I can put some slightly more solid blobs over the top. And I'm also going to just go round and put a few little dots over. And that is how I've done my waves. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to record some more of these and add them to YouTube. So hopefully any bits that you're struggling with, I can help you.